Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into some absolutely game-changing insights from William L. Foresta over at the Tree Ecosystem. Look, if you've been feeling like you're just running on a hamster wheel in real estate lately, you're working harder and harder but your numbers just aren't scaling, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're decoding his Beyond Listings framework. We're going to figure out exactly how modern real estate marketing works, and more importantly, how agents are completely transforming their businesses and practically 10xing their output by building a dedicated AI-powered system.
The source material hits us with a really hard truth right out of the gate. Posting is not marketing. It's just announcing. Ouch, right? We've all been there. You get a great new property, you upload the photos, you hit publish, and you just sort of wait for the phone to ring. But in today's landscape, visibility is absolutely not guaranteed. The algorithms are the gatekeepers. And just because you announced a property online doesn't mean the algorithm is going to actually let any high-intent buyers see it.
And honestly, even if the algorithm does show your post, your listing gets 3 seconds. Literally 3 seconds or less to capture someone's attention. Think about your own scrolling habits for a minute. There is so much noise in the market right now. Relying on hope as your lead generation strategy is a losing game when buyers are just completely overwhelmed by the sea of identical properties.
Section 1. The Listing Trap. Why Traditional Posting Fails.
Diving into this, it's pretty fascinating to look at the psychology behind exactly why buyers scroll past you. First off, they're overwhelmed. They see hundreds of listings daily, and if yours looks like all the rest, you're basically invisible. Second, there's distrust. Buyers have been burned before, so they need actual proof before they'll engage with a random agent online. And finally, there's no trigger. If you don't have an emotional hook, there's absolutely no reason for them to stop and act now. Without a system to overcome these 3 hurdles, your income is always going to be entirely random.
Section 2. Owned versus rented marketing. Who controls your audience?
To escape that trap, the framework shifts our focus to where you're actually posting. Take MLS platforms, for instance, portals like Lamudi or Property24. Yes, the advantages are great. You get massive reach and high-intent buyers who are actively searching. But what's the catch? You face extreme competition. It's heavily pay-to-play, meaning free listings just get buried. And worst of all, you have zero control over the algorithm and very weak personal branding. You're basically forced into a corner to compete entirely on price.
So the difference between these two approaches is incredibly stark. On one hand, you have rented marketing. That's your MLS platforms, your Facebook ads. The harsh reality, someone else controls that audience. On the other hand, you have owned marketing. That's your CRM, your email list, your direct messenger contacts. In this space, you control the relationship. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is this. If you don't own the audience, you don't actually own the business. You're just renting space.
Which leads right into this stark, provocative question from the presentation. If Lamudi, or any major property portal, disappears tomorrow, may negosio kaba? Do you still have a business? It's a really tough pill to swallow. If your entire lead generation relies on a rented tool, you're constantly at the mercy of their policy changes and their price hikes.
Section 3. The Buyer Decision Model. Selling to Identity.
Okay, so how do we start owning that audience? Well, we have to totally change how we talk to them. People don't buy property specs. They buy a version of themselves. Look at the old way, the absolute death of listings. 3-bedroom unit, rush sale, here are the specs. It is so boring. No story, no hook, just a wall of stats. But the new way, imagine waking up near IT Park, coffee in hand, city views. See the difference? It uses a narrative to hook the buyer's emotions. It speaks directly to their identity and the exact lifestyle they're chasing.
Section 4. The BEYOND system. The hybrid marketing funnel.
This brings us to the core solution of the entire framework, a hybrid funnel. You use those rented platforms to cast a wide net, but you immediately capture that traffic into your own ecosystem. And it's built on the BEYOND acronym. B stands for brand, becoming the trusted authority, not just a salesperson. E is for engagement, using those hooks and stories. Y is your funnel, meticulously designed to attract, capture, qualify, and close. O is optimized listings that sell with a story, not just specs. N is the nurture follow-up sequence, and D is for data, because if you aren't measuring it, you can't grow it.
Let's zoom in on that N for a second. The nurture phase. This is absolutely critical because most sales are lost simply due to terrible follow-up. This exact 14-day timeline fixes that. Date 1 is a warm thank you with a property summary. Day 3, you drop a comparison showing exactly why your property beats the alternatives. Day 7, you share a relevant buyer success story to really build that trust. And day 14, you introduce urgency, like a price update or a limited unit warning. It's structured, it's incredibly intentional, and it makes sure you stay top of mind.
But what exactly are you sending out to fuel this system? You can't just be hard selling all the time. Actually, doing that is counterproductive. You need the optimal content mix. 60% value content, think tips, market updates, FAQs. Then 20% authority content, your recent wins, behind-the-scenes looks, testimonials. Only 20% should be your actual selling content and listings. That balance is exactly how you build an audience that actually trusts you.
Section 5. 10x your output with AI, the ultimate leverage.
Now the million-dollar question, how on earth do you execute all of this without totally burning out? The secret to legitimately 10xing your output comes down to this powerful quote from the tree ecosystem: AI will not replace you. Brokers using AI will replace those who don't. We have to completely reframe how we view AI. It's not some threat coming for the industry, it's a vital tool for massive leverage. It is literally the engine that runs this entire system we just talked about.
But to actually get that 10x output, you need a framework. Because we all know the rule: garbage prompt equals garbage output. Enter the RCCO method. First up, role. Tell the AI who to be, like act as a top-producing broker. Second, context. Give it the specific background, like selling a 2-bedroom condo in BGC targeting young professionals. Third, command. Tell it exactly what to do, like write an engaging Facebook post with a strong hook. And finally, output. Tell it exactly what format you want. Follow this 4-step framework, and you're generating high-converting copy in literally under 3 minutes. And what can AI do for you once you've nailed that prompt? Basically everything. It becomes your ultimate virtual assistant across the entire marketing funnel. It writes that story-driven listing copy, generates brilliant objection handlers, drafts your Facebook ads, sets up your quick auto-replies for hot leads, writes out your entire 14 or 30-day email nurture sequence, and can even create training docs for your team. This is the exact leverage that lets one agent do the work of 10.
Section 6. Agent to System Owner, the ultimate transformation.
When you finally combine this framework with the massive leverage of AI, you undergo an unbelievable transformation. The before and after here is completely validating. In the before state, you're doing random posts, just sitting around waiting for referrals, maybe scraping by with 0 to 2 leads a month, and dealing with totally unpredictable income. But in the after state with this system, you've got consistent posting, a captured funnel you own, 15 to 25 qualified leads every single month, and most importantly, predictable, growing income. It fundamentally rewires your entire business.
The source material leaves us with this incredibly brilliant takeaway. You don't need more listings, you need leverage. Look, if you're struggling right now, I promise you aren't lacking effort. You are working hard. What you are lacking is a system to actually multiply that effort. Which brings us to our final, provocative thought from the presentation. Tonight, you have 2 choices: stay the same or evolve. Are you going to keep renting your audience and fighting tooth and nail over price? Or are you going to build an owned system powered by AI that completely 10x's your output? The tools are literally right there waiting for you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.